Let's go to the fateful game. Okay, that circle of trust. So first of all, you're watching the show and you see that there's an episode title named Faith.
So I didn't even see
Whoa.
it. It's a genuine reaction video. I
Okay.
didn't know my friend decided to film. She started to film, and I had no idea that it was named that. And then my other friend said, Faith. There's an episode, they titled it Faith. And I was like, no, they didn't. And he's like, no, they did. And I was like, what? And then I had a look, and it really was. And I was like, they didn't tell me. And then I watched the episode. I was like, well, there was examples of people, praying. It was could have been that too. But the way they did it, I'm like, nah, it was for your girl. The way they edited it and stuff, I was like, I love you, Studio Lambert and Netflix. Y'all saw me. I felt like I won.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
They named a whole episode Faith?
An episode out of you. Oh my.
Only one person gets the 4.5 million. So outside of that, you got to take your W's where you can. So
Yeah.
that's a big W.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
big W. Wonderful. So Circle of Trust is all about trust, maybe some karma.
Take the gift box and place it on the desk of the player you wish to eliminate. That player will leave the game unless they can guess who gave them the box.
How did your family background impact the way you came into that particular game?
It was kind of tough because it was like my distrust, like I felt distrustful. Like it was hard to almost trust myself because it was just a situation where it was like, usually I trust myself really well, but everybody was so shifty, I wasn't sure. And I looked at player 183 twice. My brain was like telling me, but I made that mistake where I forget, like people don't have the same heart. They don't have the same loyalty that I have. I let my own self get in the way of how I know people can be. I gave a benefit of the doubt when I should not have. Like, it's like my brain knew better. And then the other part of me was like, no, like that's your friend. They wouldn't do you like that. Even though my brain was like, but they would. I didn't trust myself in that moment. Like, I felt like a younger version of myself that couldn't trust a single person around me. And I just felt unsure of how to listen to my gut.
So let's dig into that. So there's a number of things there. One is that when we talked about slides and ladders, you mentioned that Steven made a backhanded comment, right? So if it were me in your position, I would probably go back to that backhanded comment and think, well, this guy thinks quid pro quo, as much as he might be friendly with one side of him when it comes to the game and he's a poker player, we know that. I guess you didn't necessarily know he had $6.5 million in his pocket, minus taxes, but like revisiting it that way, if that comment came back to your mind during that moment, would that have changed at all what you decide to do?
Yeah, and I think it didn't come back in the moment because, of course, edits are everything. After the game, he was very back to himself again. He was kind, he was friendly. I think he gave me 2 or 3 hugs. He got my guard down again, and I forgot to think, because I'm not someone that does that. I'm not going to hold something against you. He made a comment, and I made a comment back, and that was it for me. Again, I forget that other people, they carry things, they hold things, they don't leave it all out on the court. I left it out. I said what I had to say. People aren't like that, and I forgot.
Thinking of giving the box to player 361 simply because she seemed nervous in previous rounds, and I also just don't think that she's going to be the best interrogator. We were on good terms, but I got to look out for myself at this point in the game.
In my defense, like the person I chose, AJ, she ended up putting a box on 2 other people's desks. And I was stuck. I did go to Steven twice. I did I did. And then the other one was AJ. As annoyed at myself that I missed that, I wasn't far off. I was in the right direction. And I picked someone who did eliminate 2 other people, just not me. I wasn't just like off in the weeds with some rando, you know?
I'm just sad. I have played a fair and just game. I have been genuine. I'm feeling very stressed, and it's hard for me to gauge who has done this to me.
You had to read is just unfortunately one of the two. Let's just say that in this particular game, this is kind of like the traitors, right? So they are the ones who had to murder at least 2 and get away with it. So 1, I think, is already hard enough, and fine, I think you can get away with 1, but getting away with the second one, each
Yeah.
seemed pretty hard, especially your relator. You must have had a much closer relationship with Steven than what the show showed us.
Oh, 100%.
Or at least
They
Yeah, can you
completely
tell
ended
us
him
more?
out. Yeah, Steven and I were fully friends. We talked every day. People talk, they talk shit. They do. And so people would say rude things behind his back. I never said anything rude behind his back. I grew up in Oregon, and funny enough, the men in my family, they love poker. My family would have poker nights where people would come over and play poker. And he told me, I'm not telling everybody, but I'm a poker player. Did I walk around and tell everyone he's a poker player? No, I did not. He didn't tell me how much he won. But I was like, I bet my family members would know who you are. If you're a legit famous poker player, I bet they know who you are. He's like, I don't know, maybe. So he alluded to it, but we truly were friends. Something happened. I was like, man, I miss my family. I wish I had my family. He's like, give me a hug. We are family. Like, because he reminded me of people from home. I'm surrounded by white men, like that, white people, white men. And so I've had to condition myself to trust white men more than women that are not surrounded by them all the time. I probably give white men the benefit of the doubt more than other women of color that haven't grown up their whole life with white men. He reminded me of home. He made me laugh. It was nothing deep, nothing heavy. We were friends. And so when he said, I wouldn't do you like that, he knew exactly what to say. We were friends. And he said he thought I wouldn't be a good interrogator. Okay. He knew that I was a little soft. He knew that he had spent enough time with me and that I would probably be a little bit weak. He knew that it wasn't because I wasn't a good interrogator. He knew it was because I considered him a friend. I wish he would have been honest about that.
You know, I wouldn't do that to you, Faith.
Was it me, Faith? Yeah, guys, this is hard. You swear you wouldn't do me like that?
I wouldn't do that to you.
It sounds like he was both being very genuine with you.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, the duality completely exists where he could be, as a human being,
Exactly,
a very kind person, but as a competitor, he knows that the game, especially Mingle and Circle of Trust, you have the two most psychologically driven games.
Yes.
Different ways. So in this particular game, he used the knowledge that he had about you to, let's just say, leverage his way into the finals because he knew you would likely give him more benefit of the doubt
than any other woman sitting there. He knew I was going to give it. He said, oh, I know Dajah would interrogate me.
I'm a cop, and something is off about player 183. He's very serious. There's not a single smile on his face. That's a stressed man right there. That's a man that's stressed. That's a man that just did something that maybe he didn't want to do, or maybe he knows he shouldn't have done, but I clock him. I clock him immediately.
Oh, he made it seem like he just picked me because I was some rando weak woman. Like, no, he knew I was kind. He knew I'd give him the benefit of the doubt more than anybody in that circle. He knew I would give, probably even more than his alliances, Kate and whatnot. That man knew I'd give him the benefit of the doubt out of anybody. And he used that to his advantage. And you know what? That's on him.
That's the game?
Like, that's the game. That's the thing is, that's the game. But when I go to bed at night, when I talk about this game, like, I'm proud. I didn't do anything dirty to anybody. Like, I don't have to feel bad about a damn thing. And I'm sorry, but if after all this, seeing like how it is and how he really didn't have to do me like that, he really didn't. And if you don't feel bad, that's fine too. Like, you're a competitor. But if it was me, I'd feel bad. And I don't like to have to feel bad about stuff. So whether he feels bad or not, that's between him and his karma. And I don't have hate in my heart. I don't have it in me to hold it against him. I really did have love for Steven. He brought a lightness and a funniness that I needed, and I appreciated him for that. I wish it wouldn't have happened that way, but it was a game, and I'm a competitor, so I can respect it to an extent.
If you're my friends, who y'all think it was?
Look at how everybody's been acting. Who's acting different now?
Okay. Steven, karma's real.
They'll say in reality TV edit, you must have had a very complex personality that really wasn't shown. But obviously with Squid Game, it's very difficult to show that for everybody. So I think he got more of the villain edit, which I think he even said that somebody has to be the villain. So he was aware of that.
Yeah, I got love for Steven. It's all good. I do wish Studio Lambert, Netflix, peeped me. I want to be on a show with a smaller cast because I think there was so much that like people didn't get to see that would have made so much more depth to the show, so much more. And I get that they did the best they could with all of the people they have, but I just want the chance to show more, you know, because it makes things make more sense. There's more context.
I'm sorry. Player 412.
I don't think that's...
Wait,
no.
That's
your
no.
decision.
No. You don't get to do that and then say that. Who do you think it was?
I do not trust player 183, and 361 is my best friend here. But if I'm wrong, that player's still in the game, and then I'll be targeted next. Faith, go with your gut. You've been right. I don't know.
It's very hard to read people in a situation where everything is so high anxiety and high tension. All I can do is hope and pray, but I feel terrified in this moment. I think the player that gave me the gift box is player 412.
Well, let's get to that final moment, right? So you paired up with Dajah on Slides and Ladders. You mentioned you got close with her. So in a way, it was kind of a psychological battle between two allies, between Dajah literally giving you daggers while she is seemingly, like, just based on the edit, essentially implying that it's got to be him. She doesn't know what's next. So she may not want to implicate anybody, for better or worse. What were your thoughts during that moment? That was the moment right before you made your decision.
I didn't want to have to do this, but you kind of have to turn your backs on everyone and look out for yourself in Squid Game.
The next player to be eliminated is...
I said I didn't think it was her.
Player 361.
Yeah, so I think what you just said is what I would think. She did it for herself. She did it so that if she wasn't wrong, she wouldn't have a target on her back. Except that I know that that's not the case, because I don't think she would have went so hard to avenge me if that was the case. To me, the reason I didn't push her more when I told her, no, you need to tell me who it is. And mind you, editing is everything. We're in a circle. 183 would look at me a certain way, I'd turn my back and he'd have a different expression. Editing is everything. I know people are like, oh, she did that for herself. And it's like, okay, that would be easy to say, except the minute I was eliminated, she immediately put her ass on the line.
I wish I would have fought harder. It's just something about player 183. He's just not sitting right. If he took out my girl, he's next. He's next now.
She looked at him, she said, did you do faith? Like she was gonna kill him for it, to the point where he couldn't even lie to her. Like, yes. And then, I don't know if you noticed, but the rest of the show, nothing's happening. 302. I hate 183. Nothing. 302. I'm gonna get him. Nothing. 302. I'm gonna take him down. Like, it didn't matter what he was doing or how he was doing it. She made it clear that she was upset that he took me out. How dare he? And she was going to get him. And so I think if she was doing it for her, she wouldn't have done any of that. I think that she did that because how terrible would it have been if she would have told me she thought it was Steven and I would have believed her and she was wrong and I got eliminated because she was wrong. Maybe she had felt sure about somebody and then ended up being wrong. So she didn't want to tell me for sure and then be wrong, and then now I'm eliminated because she told me wrong. That would have been heavy to live with. So to me, I feel like it was more of that. And she proved that because she was not afraid to call him out, to make him uncomfortable. Talk about a ride or die. Like, she was loyal. And I think that she did more for me than she ever had to do. She could have sat there, been like, bye. Like, she didn't even have to try to, like, get me. You know what I mean?
Wow, I did one.
I know which one. Well, did you do faith?
Yeah,
I knew it.
Man,
I knew it.
Yeah, I do feel really bad about that. I was feeling guilty about that one, so I just admitted it because I wasn't gonna lie blatantly like that.
I love 302. She's very special to me. She always will be, and I think she did the right thing. And I'll be real with you right now, I think everything happens for a reason. I think if I'd have got to that damn shuffleboard game, I'd have been stressed, I'd have shit the bed, I'd have flung the thing over the tape, and your girl would have been eliminated like a damn loser. The way that I went out made him have me be like, episode 8, let's title it Faith, she's our girl. Everything happens for a reason, and I think that it all had to go how it had to go. I really do.
It's very clear how much impact you made on the entire storyline of the season, especially those last 2 episodes.
Thank you.
Right. It's very interesting too, and maybe some point we'll get Steven on here and get his perspective as well, and also his strengths, because I think he has just a very complex personality that wasn't really shown. It was just shown, call it a villain edit, and he mentioned they needed a good villain. There weren't that many villains who are actual villains. You had somebody try to, but that really was just fibbing, and somebody who actually had the chutzpah, as they would say, to do that, and that was Steven. I do see that other side of it as well that you mentioned, is that Dajah didn't say anything because she didn't want to be wrong about implicating Steven, because if you did guess Steven and she were wrong, then she would feel guilty.
Yeah.
Because she was the one who guided you to Steven, and that's true too.
And my gut wasn't off. Like, my gut was just a little off, because I had been making gut decision after gut decision, and she knew that. And my gut was just a little bit wrong, because AJ, I was right about, she was playing a better game than people knew. Like, she was. And I was just a smidge off, like a smidge. So again, I
Yeah.
think that Dej did trust me, and she genuinely trusted me to make a good decision. And it was my decision to make. It was my responsibility. It wasn't hers.
I wanted to tell her so bad, but I didn't want to be wrong.
Same.
I saw you because you're happy, smiley, and then all of a sudden you serious.
Player 183 has just admitted he put a box on 361's desk. That's not smart to let me know that. I don't know why you let me know that. Yeah, that was stupid. That was stupid. Because now you gotta go.
Why do you feel this time around no one was able to pick out their killer, I suppose? Whereas last season, Mai was able to do it successfully a couple times.
I think that Mai and Steven have similar traits in that they were very good at reading people. Steven himself happened to throw a wrench in our entire game because even if he didn't do it, you were suspicious that he did it, but then you're like, you don't want to go for the obvious person that's the poker player. So I think his presence was like a magnet to the compass. Like it just got us all unsure. And me, I looked like I did it every time. I was so damn stressed. So it's impossible. And that's the thing is we're tired, we're stressed. We've been there for a while now. It's not like you're at your best, your peak mentally, you know. So that game, I think anybody who knows me well knew that that might be the game that would get me.
Yeah. Well, at least you got an episode out of it.
Faith. Absolutely. I'm
Faith.
a winner.
That's always gonna be there in Netflix lore forever.
Absolutely.
So congrats on that, because that's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
It is.
Okay, well now you're out of the game, but you made it essentially to the day before the end, I would imagine. Oh, let's talk about the end. Let's just say you got through that, okay?
Yes.
Let's give yourself some credit that
Yeah.
you could get that little bisque up there to that line, but not over it.
Yeah.
And you get into that final 5. If you were there observing in person what happened, what would your reaction be?
I already know, I would have tried to stop Trinity from doing that, and I would have asked him, Trinity, what if right now you're feeling stressed and scared and it's a lot, but what if God wants you here right now so that you can make it forward and win and do all the things you need to do with the money? What if God wants you to do something different? I would have questioned him more. I would have been a little more aggressive. Even though I would have wanted to take the pass, I don't think it would have sat right with me unless I really talked to this person that was making such a big decision. And then if he still would have been like, no, Faith, you know, this is what I'm feeling, I'd have been like, okay, I just want to make sure that you're not going to have regrets either. That's what I would have asked him.
It seems like that also probably didn't go the producer's way.
I bet they hated us. They're like, this damn season 2 cast.
Like you made our finale kind of like, oh.
Yeah, I think people are being a little hard on Trinity. I think he did what he felt was right in his
Yeah.
heart, and I think people just need to be a little less harsh.
I mean, that's reality TV as much as it's challenging because you see someone like him and his archetype looks like somebody who's ultra competitive, somebody who's to some degree could be brash, but he's essentially it's like a big softie. You know, he wants to love everybody and
Hey, just a
be
glass
loved
of
and all that
OJ.
too. A glass of OJ, that sounds great. I would only imagine him doing really well in that last game.
He would have done awesome. He would have, but like I said, I'm very much woo woo. Everything happens for a reason. Who knows what's to come
Well,
for him? Who knows what beautiful things are to come?
I think he's got a big career
Me
ahead.
too.
So I'm hopefully have a chance to chat with him too, because I think he has definitely one of the most intriguing stories I don't think got fully told. It leaned on just a very spiritual side. I'd be interested to see if belief was one of his top strengths.
Yeah.
Now we know in retrospect how he sacrificed himself. It's kind of like in the scripture, a self-sacrifice saved everyone else. There's a lot to that, and I'm not, I won't go into that, but it sounds like there's a lot to that that's much deeper than just simply what you see on the surface.
Exactly. The editing is crazy, and there's always more to the story.
Just like 200 something O's who just died in 15 minutes, right?
And the more O's that I meet, the more I get to know you guys, the more I'm like, man, y'all would have been beautiful TV. That's not fair.
When you looked at the O side, what was your impression of these O's?
I think y'all looked like beautiful people that would have been very fun to spend time with, like carefree. You guys were gonna be on to the next thing. The only reason I chose X, I just immediately felt like a pull to X. My friends actually went over to O, and then they came back to X.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, so they were one of the few people that
Hmm.
when they asked for about 20 people to come back, they're one of those few
There
people.
were some of those, but they literally went over there and they were on O, and then Dajah said, "Oh, my heart's telling me X," so then they all moved over to X, and I just was on X.
Dajah was an O for a split
For a split
second.
second, yeah.
Whoa.
Asia, my
Whoa.
friend Shamir, they went over there and I went to X. They're like, Faith, you just left. It's funny, perspective is funny. In my mind, they left me, and in their mind, I left them. But it's funny because we ended up on X together.
Totally different season
Yeah.
if she died with us, but I'm glad so if there's someone to live, it's you two.
Thank you.
Well, let's get to that final game. It sounded like this was all a surprise to all of us at the end. First of all, the surprise that red light, green light was the final game. What were your thoughts about that? Personally, I think it's not a final game.
I think it was a little strange to play with so few people. Like, it shocked me. I think they needed to maybe like zest it up to make it feel more like a final game. Maybe have some obstacles or just like a not quite classic red light, green light. But I mean, it ate. Like, for me, the tension, the excitement, the bada boom factor, like, it still ate for me. So.
Well, we got that moment where, okay, so Vanessa gets out first. She kind of trips a little bit. And then we get that big moment. And I will tell you, given that they did a good job with the villain edit, there's something about Steven falling onto his knees.
Player 183. Eliminated.
Can you tell me more about what you thought when you saw all that come to play?
I'm not gonna lie, it gave me pleasure to see Stephen down on his knees losing $4.56 million. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was like, you know what, Karma's a bitch. Get down on your knees, baby. But you know what? That's all the repayment I needed. Like, I feel validated. That was fine. He did it to himself. Like, he's gonna forever have to lose out on $4.56 million on his knees. And in his defense, he told me what really happened. He said he kept stopping in the same position and his legs started to go numb, started to quiver. So his intent was to purposefully fall so that he could be in a different position of relaxation when the doll turned around. But he mistimed it and he fell and was eliminated.
Right.
That's what he said. That was his perspective. My perspective was, yeah, he's on his knees.
I was so happy.
It was pretty good.
The revenge just was self-inflicted. It wasn't even like you have Perla and Dajah were pretty much tied for the most part. They were pretty much always behind Steven.
Yes.
I think the doll was timed differently than the gigantic version of red light, green light. So the doll turned around faster. If you didn't give yourself enough time to stop, which is exactly what Perla did, you definitely saw her literally stop a few steps behind. She could have gone a little further, but she definitely stopped a bit. Whereas Steven was just like hustling.
Yep. Got ahead of himself. He got ahead of himself.
Got ahead of himself.
And then what happened to my baby Dajah? What happened to Dajah? That broke my heart and soul.
Tell me about it. The moment you were ecstatic about Steven fell to his knees, and then now let's talk about Dajah. She was right there. Tell me about that.
That like broke. I just want to say she's still my winner. Like, Dajah could never lose. She's just a winner. She's a winner. And to be medically disqualified is something else. It's actually driving me crazy when I see people say, "Oh, she's gonna have a Peter Griffin moment. Oh, she sprained her ankle. Oh, I'll buy a new leg for 4 point." Snapping your Achilles tendon in half? Grown men, athletes, the strongest people in the world cannot stand, walk, talk through a snapped Achilles. And the fact that people want to just, oh God, how about you look at it from a different perspective? That must have been so bad that $4.56 million wasn't enough that she could fight through it. That's how much she was injured. Like, oh, what an injury. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And Dajah did not deserve that. And I wish she would have had better fitting shoes. I wish she would have been warmed up. I wish that people would have taken safety more seriously, because I'm a registered nurse. I deal with people who have injuries. I see these things. If you're going to be running, sprinting, taking off with your whole self, you got to have supportive footwear. You got to be safe or you can hurt yourself. I think that's exactly what we saw.
Usually need to break those type of shoes in because they change
Yeah.
those into those tuxedo shiny shoes. I can tell you, even the ones I have that are broken in, there's no way in hell I'd be jogging in them, nonetheless running in them, and that's just
Yeah.
the ones I've already broken into.
And you're used to them. How often is Dajah wearing men's dress shoes? Like, she's a police officer. She's wearing serious footwear to take these motherfuckers down. She ain't out here in those slippy, slidey dress shoes taking like, no, like, she wears shoes and she does work. Like, that's crazy.
So they would all have been better off barefoot.
Probably it would have been safer. I think the fact that the shoe was too big and there was just like a slip slide and a snap,
Yeah,
and she has been
yeah,
out of work. She
yeah.
has been, oh my God, my poor girl. And just how tough and strong she's been about it. To have something snatched away from you, to be medically disqualified, and there's not a single thing,
Mm.
they won't let you participate. People are like, oh, I would have rolled. You think she didn't want to roll? You think she didn't want to crawl across that finish line? Like, oh my God,
But you
she's.
could literally see they show the finish line above her head.
Yes, she got done so dirty by no fault of her own. She's such a badass winner. I love her. She'll be my friend for the rest of my life if she'll have me.
Of course, I'm sure. I'd love to talk to her as well.
Yes.
I think she has already a TED speech. Like, I saw the finish line. The finish line was right there. And the amount of resilience you need to have. I saw her reel. She was giving the background of
Yeah.
being medically disqualified and that she wanted to continue. But when you tear your Achilles, these guys who play tackle football, they tear this thing and they're out for a year.
A
They're
year.
like literally out for a year.
And they go down. They don't, like, she stood there. She stood there. She thought about it. The fact that she stood there that long and didn't just collapse screaming, I don't think people can comprehend the injury. When you snap it, it's like this tight rubber band, right? And when a rubber band snaps, both
Yeah.
of those pieces go
Oh,
fling.
yeah. Well, we know that red light, green light in tuxedo shoes won't ever happen again, at least, right? Right?
That's crazy work. That's no, and I'm not trying to be
That's
critical. That's crazy work.
I want season three's final game to be a really good final game. And we had rock, paper, scissors, and we had red light, green light. Come on. You had some pretty awesome games, like Slides and Ladders was amazing, right?
Yes.
Y'all can come up with at least a final game that will crush it.
They can.
Let's without crushing our Achilles.
I believe
So
in them.
well, so that means we have Perla left.
Yes.
And I actually spotted her as the winner pick in the second batch beforehand, but then Dajah, she was also giving me winner vibes. Either of them I would have been happy with. You were in the game with them. What are your thoughts with Perla winning?
I am so happy for her. Pearl is a gem. She's beautiful inside and out. I think a lot of people felt like she was manipulating with her emotions. She wasn't. We were all emotional. We all cried. It was crazy. Perla is a beautiful person. She's a strong woman. She comes from a struggle of a background. She deserves the win. She worked for it. And I'm happy for her. I hope that she enjoys every second of it. She worked for that win and she deserves it.
I think she definitely got a very complete edit. She and Jeffrey had each other in the game as well, and that's the game, right?
Yeah.
So now that you see the result, you mentioned in a recent reel that we don't see a lot of Black millionaires.
Yeah.
Now, given the result, I'd like to learn a little bit more about your perspective. In the strengths world, we call this significance, the desire to have impact and to be known and to have a presence. Did you feel that pressure on yourself? Did you feel that sort of pressure in the room with everybody else who's a person of color? What did that exactly mean? And then you saw the winner as a person of color. What did that all mean in the experience and afterwards?
I think as a person of color, it's like a lived pressure. It's like a lived pressure. Like, you always have to work a little harder. You always have to prove yourself a little more. It's just a little bit harder. There, you just face more oppression, whether unconscious bias, conscious bias. Factually, there are less people of wealth that are people of color than white people. There's nothing wrong or racist with saying that. That is a mathematical fact. And there's also nothing wrong with wanting to close the gap. Why wouldn't we want to share the wealth? Why wouldn't we want more people of color to have more wealth like our white counterpart? Like, why wouldn't we want that? So, yes, anytime that there's a disparity based on color, yeah, I want to identify it and I want to do everything we can to close the gap and make things more fair and equitable. Because that's the thing, you can't have equality without equity. You can't have equity without equality. You can't, they're different. You have to have them both. And you can't do that by saying, I'm colorblind. I know people have the best intentions by saying that, but people of color don't get the option to be colorblind because it shapes every experience that we have. I want disparities to be eliminated. I want more equity and equality. And if that makes somebody mad, I think that somebody needs to ask themselves, why does that make you mad? What is the problem?
I'm with you. Isn't that awesome that the first two winners of Squid Game The Challenge are women of color?
It says it all. It says it all. Quit playing with us.
Yeah.
Quit playing with us. Watch out,
Well,
world.
keep playing because we'll win. Keep playing because we're gonna win.
Yeah, you better watch yourself because we out here. I say we like I feel like they won for us. Like they represent.
That seems to be the best part of this Squid Game. You know, we have basically two Squid Games. We have the drama, which we know is very blood-filled. And this one, where as much as there's obviously a lot of tension and yeah, getting that elimination, like I know what that pop feels like. I know what that splatter looks like. But what you also get are those human stories, and you have a lot that's on the line. And even though there's 455 of us that are going to lose, myself included, what matters most, we got the same amount of money out of it, but what matters most is the experience we get. One person's gonna win, so just hopefully it's a person we like.
Yeah.
Baby, we're going home.
We had a chance to go through a lot, Faith, so I really appreciate your time here. You mentioned also that this is just a hello. This is just the beginning, and I love that feeling. What does that mean for you, that this is just the beginning? Even though Squid Game The Challenge Season 2 has ended, what does it mean for this just to be the beginning, just to be the hello?
So it's funny because I was wearing this sweatshirt when I made that video. And this is just hello because no way am I going to get an opportunity to meet the world like this and then be like, all right, I'm done now. Like, no. We just met. Like, we just started. I'm going to be on more shows. I'm trying to be out here, like, in the streets in the best way possible. The world is not going to just meet me now and I'm done. We literally are just starting to get to know each other. So I don't know exactly what, I don't know exactly how, but there's some good stuff to come. I just feel it, I know it, and I'm here.
I mean, you gotta have a book, right?
I've said since I was a kid that I wanted to write a book.
You have all within you to have a book, and now you have the platform.
I'm gonna write a book.
So I want to see that book. I will be the first one in line to get your autograph.
Okay. I'm holding you to it. Okay, it's recorded. I'm holding you to it. I will write a book and you better get it.
I'm looking forward to it. Anything else you want to share here on Squid Strengths?
I just thank you so much for having this idea. I love the psychology side of it. Thank you for your time, for having me. And really, I love my castmates. Even people that it was a weird relationship or maybe you're not sure. It's like, I got love for everybody. The fact that our paths crossed is beautiful. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me. I'm just blessed and I'm just happy. I'm just a lover girl. I'm just out here, I'm chilling.
Well, you're gonna be chilling. You're gonna be chilling writing that book because you gotta have the book. You're gonna have the keynote. You're gonna be on the speaker circuit. Come on, Faith. Let's do it.
I love it.
There's more than one way to make a Black millionaire. It's not just winning Squid Game The Challenge.
Damn straight. I'm gonna be on that list. Catch me on the list, okay?
You will be. You will be. Well, thank you so much, Faith, for being on Squid Strings. I really appreciate it a lot. I've been looking forward to getting chat with you, and you just over-delivered on what you shared. Please come back, and I would love to see you come back with any of your teammates as well, because strengths is not just an individual thing. It's also a team thing. It's also recognizing and being aware of each other's strengths. And there is a lot that we can take from this discussion, and it can cascade into other discussions with other people. So as you said, this is just the start.
Absolutely. I'm happy to come back anytime. I'm always here, so you just let me know.
Thank you so much, Faith, for coming on to Squid Strengths. You really gave us a master class on what I'll call the double-edged sword of soft skills. In the corporate world, we often hear that nice guys finish last. Well, Faith proved that in a social game, nice guys actually get extra lives. But she also proved that her greatest strength, if unchecked, could also become the single source of failure. So let's break down Faith's game through her top strengths of developer, positivity, and relator. So first, the ROI of her developer. Faith leads with developer, the talent that sees potential in others and feels the deep need to nurture. In the dorms, she wasn't just being nice. She was building a massive bank of social capital. Just think about the data points that we have had in past Squid Strengths episodes. August player 111 sacrificed his game and mingle partially because he saw Faith in the room. He saw the nurse who deserved to be there. Isaiah, player 410, who arguably is the ultimate strategist in the game, would have loved to partner with Faith in the following game because he fully trusted her. If you're a leader who may think that empathy is all fluff, look at the results. Faith's developer talent created a safety net that caught her when she could have easily fallen. Kindness isn't weakness, it's the ultimate insurance policy. However, that relator could also be a blind spot. Familiarity may not mean safety, and that is one of the hardest coaching truths. Faith confirmed that Steven, player 183, reminded her of home. He reminded her of the men that she saw back in Oregon. And high relators prioritize those deep, familiar connections. The danger is that we often mistake familiarity for safety. Faith's brain had the data. She saw the daggers that Dajah was giving Steven, and she also recalled that comment that Steven made after one of the games, where Faith owed him one. But her relator during Circle of Trust filtered and blocked out all of those other data points because she trusted Steven on a human level, like she trusted her family. So in your career, ask yourself, are you trusting someone because they're competent? Are you trusting someone because they make you feel comfortable? In a high stakes environment, comfort is a very dangerous metric. And also, let's look at her positivity. She didn't leave bitter. She didn't leave with any regrets. She left saying this isn't the end. It's just a hello. That is positivity in its most mature form. It's not ignoring the negative. She was very aware of all those negative things that could have happened or may have happened. But it's refusing to let the negative define the narrative. She took a devastating public loss and instantly converted that into a launchpad for what can be her future career. Now, that is resilience. So, what's the ultimate takeaway? Faith's game teaches us that strengths are contextual. The developer and relator themes that made her the queen of the dorms were also the exact talents that may have blinded her in that white interrogation room. So, if you want to learn more about your strengths and see which of them may also be one of your blind spots in the next high stakes moment of your life and career, head over to strengthsfirst.com and take my Strengths First Catalyst quiz. It just takes a few minutes to learn what drives you. Don't let what's most familiar be the reason that gets you eliminated, that gets you to stumble. I want you to be aware of what your strengths are, what others' strengths are. So let's start that strengths journey. It starts with my Catalyst quiz and it could continue with Gallup's Clifton Strengths. High five, I am a certified strengths coach in both. In the meantime, I look forward to the next episode of Squid Strengths, where I'm going to be bringing on my purple squad. Why are we purple? Well, there's a red team and a blue team, so that makes purple. And we're gonna make this a fun Christmas special. So stay tuned. In the meantime, I'm Coach Bryant Raymond, player 164, signing off. See you next week on Squid Strengths.